हो गया. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another wonderful. Are we live?
कौन है ये?
Let's just quickly check out if we're live
Who
or
is
not.
that?
We're live. So, hello everybody. Welcome to another wonderful episode. We're here at Wali Wonders. We're here at Sophis Productions, and today we're going to talk about Iran and Israel. I know we've not been doing the live streams for the past few days, but today we're going to give you all the information that we have collected on this issue. And most importantly, what is the inside story? What's the details about this war between Iran and Israel? Because it seems like it's not going to end soon. Although Donald Trump was like a president who promised that he wouldn't start any wars in the Middle East, but now that Donald Trump is in and he's on the seat, we see that he has started the biggest war of them all, which is the Israel and Iran conflict. And if we see the footages and everything that is going on, there's a few people in the stream already. Thank you guys for being here. So, what is really happening with this war situation that is going on? I'll show you just a video of I guess I don't have it right now, but yeah, I was going to show you the video of this missile strike on Israel from Iran yesterday, and the smoke trail of the bomb was just something out of this world. It looked like a mushroom that was going through the sky, and there's a few people that are here. Nadeem says hello. Ahmed says is waving. Nottingham is saying hello, we're back. And Azan is also saying yes, we're back with you. So guys, thank you for being at our live stream. We enjoy every bit of this thing, and thank you for liking and commenting. And if you like and subscribe, that's like a free way to support this channel. So keep it up, guys. And the situation between Iran and Israel is like really devastating right now. And there's so many bombs that are going on. Recently, what happened is that Israel bombed the news headquarters of Iran, and there was this lady who was giving her speech live on air, and she was like, I will die, but I will not surrender to Israel and their threats. And there was an actual bomb attack while she was doing her interview and doing her speech, and then she left the studio, went to another studio, and continued her interview. So hats off to that lady, because she really proved how important Iran was to her. And all this news that we hear from Israel, that they have intelligence people in Iran, because you have to remember, it's so much information coming in, but when the fight started, it seemed like Iran had planned this massive major move to just annihilate all the top leadership of Iran. And the army chief was killed, the air chief marshal was killed, all the nuclear scientists were killed, and these people were attacked at their homes. I don't know how Israel achieved such a heinous act, but it's being proven that these attacks that were carried out on the first day, Iran actually had built drone bases inside Iran. Israel had built those drone bases inside Iran, and from inside, the drones came and attacked all these um, high-ranked officials in the Iranian regime, and also there were some people as well who might be in the Iranian army or in the Iranian politics that are on the top level and are also some sort of traitors to the regime, and they're giving some intel because they killed they killed
The chief of
the
army staff.
chief of army staff and the next guy they appoint, and he also gets killed in just 4 days. And how can it be that they already know that there is like a mole and there's like a person who's giving all the intel to the Israeli side, and then what happens is they still can't find who this guy is, and Israelis also get the next guy. So the situation seems like Iran is playing its dirty games again, and
Israel.
Israel is playing its dirty games again, and that's what Israel is best at. But now it's the first time in history that Israel has been attacked in such a massive scale, and Iran is the first nation to really attack Israel. And also the fact that I think when Khomeini came into power, at that time, the Palestinian Liberation Movement the PLO helped Khomeini to get into power, maybe through some arms, maybe through some political support, maybe through some organized riots and rallies. And it was a revolution, and it was a toppling of Shah's regime. And then if we go back into the history, we also see that Israel and its nuclear program, because Israel, as soon as they came into existence, they immediately started working on the nuclear program. So South Africa back then was supported by the white supremacists, and everyone was against them. But Israel was the one to support them. And South Africa had nuclear weapons. Some say that some of the tech and some of the things and also the testing facilities were provided by the South African apartheid nation. So back then as well, so this is like a fight between good and evil. And back then, the South African, the Nelson Mandela, was in support of Palestine, and Palestine was in support of Iran. And now Iran, after all these years, Iran is back on the block, and Iran is now taking the revenge, because Israel has been doing this genocide for the past 2 years, and it's killed so many Palestinian people who are helpless, and they don't have anywhere to go, and they've dropped like 100 tons of bombs on not just 100 tons, I don't know how many tons, but it's hundreds and hundreds of tons of TNT bombs on the Gaza, and all the Gaza has been destroyed. There's no buildings left, and there's so many of those explosives are now, even they say that they haven't been exploded, like 20% don't explode right at the moment, but they're still there. And if people go over there, these things can explode like anything. And the children don't have food. The mothers are hungry. The mothers can't feed their children, and it's such a horrendous situation. And now, when Israel is so bold, and it says a lot about Netanyahu's mind as well, because this guy has some serious criminal investigation and some serious criminal charges against him, because he's involved in fraud, he's involved in a lot of nasty things like corruption and embezzling funds and so Netanyahu was going to the jail and he was going to spend the rest of his life in the jail. But then, when everything fails, they take you to war. And Netanyahu went to war, and it's been 2 years that he's been constantly killing Gazan people, and he is not getting his real motive that he wanted to ethnically cleanse the whole Gaza Strip and move all the Palestinian people out of there. And Netanyahu thought that now I'll do this bold move and attack Iran, who is the main supplier of Hezbollah and the weapons and the rockets that have been used. And Israel did such a bold step on the premise that Iran was going to get a nuclear weapon in the next few days. And they've been saying this since, I guess, the 70s and the 80s. In the 80s, they came out and said that Iran was like 5 years away from a nuclear weapon. And it's like every year they're like, Iran is like a week away, Iran is like 2 weeks away, Iran's like 4 months away. And there is also credible evidence that Iran had enriched uranium and yellow cake, and they had the heavy water, and they were on 60% uranium enrichment. And to make it fully a usable nuclear weapon, they just needed like 2 weeks. But why is Iran suddenly now rushing towards a nuclear missile? Because although Israel says it's attacking Iran because of its nuclear weapons, but the real issue, the real thing, the dirty games that these guys actually play is the regime change operation that they want to do and throw the Iranian regime out, the Khamenei and his supporters and all of the political leaders, and get someone in the presidential seat who is more accepting of Israel, who doesn't want any nuclear weapons, who doesn't want to protect Gaza. Because Iran is right now the only one who are actually protecting what's left of Gaza and what's left of their people. And the real mission for these guys was like a regime change operation, which still is. That's why Donald Trump is coming up with all his tweets about he knows where the so-called supreme leader is, and he's not going to attack him right now, but he can attack him at any moment. But Trump is like a funny guy as well. We'll discuss about Trump as well, but the point is about today's live stream is like a sensitive topic, but we do think that it's not about the nuclear weapon, but it's about a regime change that might happen in Iran. And on the other hand, Iran might be pursuing the nuclear weapon right now. That is what Colonel Douglas McGregor was also saying in his interview a few days ago, that why is Iran pursuing it right now? Because they are also in an existential threat that if they don't get this nuclear weapon, the regime change operation that Israel wants to do, they'll succeed in that, and it's going to be like devastating for them. So with that, we have today with Anila Shehzad, who's a regular on our channel. She's a geopolitical analyst and author of 4 books. Her latest book is Geopolitics and Dynamics
Frameworks
and Frameworks in a Multipolar World. So it's like a great book. It's a difficult name to say. That's why we get it wrong. And do you guys will attach? We always say, but this time we'll attach a link to her book down in the description, and you guys can read the book for yourself as well. And we're going to have a deep, in-depth discussion with Anila Shehzad on this topic, and we're going to know what's really happening. And we've got like a nice little presentation for you guys. So without further ado, Anila, what do you think about this regime change operation that Israel wants to do, and how successful are they? And on the other side, is killing the top leadership of Iran like going to stop Iran? Are people more important, or is the ideology more important? And even if they keep on killing, is Iran's attacks far more dangerous than Israel's attacks? Because Israel is just killing a few people, but Iran is actually demolishing all the morality and all the sites, their important sites and headquarters, which is like the first time that Israel has been in such a big attack. So, yeah.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum. Thanks for having me, Wali. And it's always so nice to be here and talk about geopolitics, because geopolitics is, the big picture, and it's a new science, is developing, and students of universities and colleges who are studying political science or international affairs or IR, things like that, they should also look into this subject of geopolitics, because it is different from all those subjects in this way that it gives you that bigger thought space, that bigger canvas where you can form the big picture and where you can put in all the things related to all different segmented sciences like international relations, like political science. You can all those informations and much more can fit into geopolitics, because this new faculty has been developed in the era of globalization. And in this era, this globalization era, everything became interconnected, intertwined, and like the world became a global village, and there was need to understand what's going on, how the world is working in a different new paradigm, and that new paradigm can be covered in geopolitics or politics. So it's a very, very interesting subject, and I would urge students to look into this subject, look into this faculty, this platform where you can really be better off in understanding what's happening in the world. So having said that, about Iran and Israel, the question you put on to me was that is Israel going to succeed in maybe what Netanyahu is saying, that his major goals in Iran was not just the nuclear deal. And I was thinking of, like this all along, that nuclear deal is not the real thing. And now Netanyahu is said yesterday, I think, that his two goals are: one, to destroy the nuclear capabilities of Iran, and the second, to remove the Iranian Ayatollah regime, which is such insane thing to even say. And Israel is one of those countries, one of those nations in the whole wide world who has no morality, no ethics, no rules of the game. No rules of the game apply on Israel. Israel can say anything, it can do anything, and it is still going to remain the self-righteous किस्म का ये कंट्री है जो हर गलत काम करके उसको प्रूव करता है कि मैं सही कर रहा हूँ. So what Israel is doing right now with Iran, it has actually implanted its spies and its moles inside Iran. And Wali, I think you're going to also show this news that they have captured so many people who they think have been part of those drone bases, small bases made inside houses, where they imported different parts of the drones in different batches, and then they put them together. And drone technology is so simple now that if you have all the parts, simple engineers can put them together and hit the targets with them. And when the Israelis are giving them the intel that this is the building, this is the complex, this is the apartment that you have to hit, that becomes really easy for them. And I was telling you that many of those young men that have been captured by the Iranian police were found to be Indian people. And India is so close to Israel right now. They are best buddies. Modi and Netanyahu have been called hug buddies and best buddies, and they are always complimenting each other. They're always supporting each other. Like other countries, you will find that they are giving statements in support of Gaza, or maybe in support of Iran. But India is one of those very few countries that will come in the international media with statements in support of Israel. And that's what they've done. They've been real good friends to Israel. They've instead of, because the Israeli people cannot have a passport or easily travel into or penetrate into Iran. So what they did, they took help of these Indian people who might be there for jobs or for businesses or something like that. So that's what's happening. What I'm trying to say is that the amount of damage that this Israel can put on Iran is of that level, of like assassinations, of targeted killing of important people, trying to destabilize the political framework, trying to destabilize the military framework, and trying to kill specific people and put terror and fear in the hearts of the people that they are not safe anymore, that their political structure is not working anymore, it's not viable anymore, the government is not able to protect itself anymore. That is not war, that is terrorism. That is what terrorists do. They fund and weaponize non-state actors inside the other country, and those non-state actors or militants or whatever drone makers or whatever new ways they are appearing, and then those people attack the power centers, the gravity points of that country. That is the definition of terrorism. It is not the definition of war. So again, the war thing that Israel did upon Iran was their aerial attacks, their missiles. The few missiles that landed inside Iran have hurt some of the infrastructure of Iran, but they have not really actually done a lot of damage. And the aircrafts that came with those missiles, because Israel has a drawback that most of its missiles are aerial missiles that are carried by their Air Force aircrafts, and they have lesser missiles that are from land to land missiles that they fire from their land soil in Israel and that lands inside Iran, they have lesser of those. So they're not using them. They're using those with economy. But the other ones that came with those aircraft, you know what happened? That Iran has already claimed that it has put down almost 3 to 4 of Israel's F-35s, which are the fifth generation stealth, top of the notch fighter aircrafts that they have bought from the United States, and the US always has been boosting that F-35s are not that they are invincible and they cannot be targeted, they cannot be put down and all that. That has been proven wrong again. Just like in Pakistan, the French Rafales that were portrayed to be the top-notch fighter jets, they have been downed, and Rafale has been debased or defamed. The same way F-35s have been defamed because Iran, in the first few days, couple of days, they put down their F-35. So Israel is afraid of taking more fighter aircrafts close to Iranian soil, because the aircrafts that entered the Syrian airspace and the aircrafts that entered the Iraqi airspace, those were also targeted by the Iranian Air Force or their missile systems, because they believed that the airspace of Iraq and Syria is an airspace where they can enter in a legitimate fashion. So that's what's been happening, and in return, the attacks that Iran has done inside Israel, which I think you're going to show the news also, that they have destroyed the intelligence buildings, they have destroyed military and defense important buildings, they have destroyed ministry buildings, they have destroyed big hospital buildings, they have destroyed a lot, and many townships, many big city areas have been attacked, and so many people must have died in the rubbles. They might still be in the rubbles. Israel is not only censoring all those news, they are, I think one of their, Smotrich was on news yesterday, I think, and he was scolding the Israeli media people and the Israeli, civilians who are posting images and videos of those missiles that are falling on Israeli cities, and then they're posting them on social media and all that, and so that the whole world has come to know how much destruction Israel has faced. And Israel is very, very small and tiny compared to Iran. And Iranian, I've been talking about this before also, that the Iranian military arsenal is not lying on the ground, easy target, sitting ducks. No, that's not the case. Iranian arsenal is hidden deep under the ground in big miles and miles long tunnels, whereas in Israel the F-16s and F-35s and all those tanks and all of those things are lying on the ground, and they're easy targets, and Iran has already hit so many of those military depots where they were that were filled with aircrafts, and they were filled with missiles and all those things.
Yeah. So if you watch the thumbnail of our video, it's a thumbnail about Netanyahu stopping everyone who wants to leave Israel. They've stopped all the flights.
Shehzad, Pani.
They've stopped all the flights from that are going to leave from Israel and go to other countries. They're only letting flights into the country. And we know now that a lot of these Israeli people who are in Tel Aviv, who are in the other places, just want to abandon the ship. They want to leave Israel. If the normal civilian population, who's already so fed up, and they have been already protesting for the past 2 years, they were inside BB's party's political headquarters just like a few weeks ago. They actually stormed in their headquarters, and the point is that IDF might be fighting, but Netanyahu has left his people in such an horrific and horrendous situation that these people are literally crying because first we heard that the people had some time to react, like they had a 10-minute early warning when the missiles were coming in, and they could. It's still very hard that 24 hours of the day, whenever you hear the siren, you just gotta rush to the bunkers and you just gotta, you just have like a few minutes. But now, the latest reports that are coming out, Israel is alleging that Iran is hacking their systems. There's siren systems, their alarm systems, and their radars are being jammed by some Iranian forces and some tech that they're not familiar with, and that's why, I mean, the also the hypersonic missiles that Iran is using are so fast and so quick that it doesn't really matter if the alarm goes off or not. The time they had, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes to rush to the bunker, that has been reduced to like 30 seconds, because these missiles are just the edge, a top echelon of technology, and it's nothing that Israel has seen. So, in a way, Donald Trump is like scolding Khomeini, and he's giving threats to Khomeini, and he's giving these great speeches to Khomeini that I know where the so-called supreme leader of Iran is hiding. And I'm not going to kill him right now, but he's like an easy target, and I can kill him anytime. And they're trying to induce fear in the Iranian population because, yes, killing the top leaders and also the top army personnel, like the chief of army staff, can induce a lot of mass panic. But is it going to derail the Iranian regime of their aims and ambitions? And can Khomeini and his regime and Iran's whole political setup be like really what you can say, can they be intimidated by the American and the Israeli forces to just surrender and give away their nuclear ambitions or give away their 60%?
Actually, Trump said that surrender unconditionally.
Yeah.
Yesterday's.
So while we see that Bibi is himself scared, sitting in a bunker, and all the Israeli civilians want to leave and abandon the ship when the war is hot. And on the other hand, we see that Khomeini is like really calm and collected, and he's saying that he's not afraid of any of these threats, and he's not afraid of death. And he says that he is already like a disabled person because he's 86 years old. Why is everybody so scared of an 86-year-old man? He's already at the end of his lifespan. And Khomeini's like, my life doesn't matter. What really matters is the cause. And even if you kill me, do you think these missiles and what Iran is doing is going to stop? Iran is going to continue to do what it wants to do, get a nuclear program. I don't know what they're saying. They were actually at the negotiating table as well. And there was like a 60-day negotiating period. And Trump started the negotiations with one thing, and then he suddenly flipped and went to no enrichment, and then he joined forces with Bibi Netanyahu, and in the middle of the night they attacked Iran in such a devastating way, and they had been planning this for a long while, because attacks like such a big attack that they destroyed their initial missile launchers and they killed their leadership, and maybe this leadership was hiding inside a bunker, but they still managed with their bunker buster bombs to really attack like this. This was a big attack, and Donald Trump knew
No,
every.
they were in their apartment buildings.
Yeah, they were in the apartment buildings,
yeah, the
not in
Iranian,
bunkers.
Yeah, the chief of army staff and all those.
Yes, but still, Donald Trump is saying Israel wants to kill Khamenei. With the recent hypersonic attacks, especially on the stock exchange, we'll show you the footage. It's like a horrendous footage. The stock exchange has been totally decimated, and also we'll show you the footage. Yeah, Israel stock exchange, and also their intelligence headquarters, where they got all Mossad's intelligence. This also has been hit by Iranian missiles, and it has been totally decimated. So Netanyahu comes out and he says that yes, Khomeini doesn't have any chance of living, and we don't want him to live, and I'm just going to bomb him, but he needs the approval of the Americans. And another thing that we also know, that only America has those sort of bunker buster bombs that can penetrate so deep that it can hit where Khomeini is staying. And the bunker buster bombs that Israel has are not that capable to hit in such a fashion that they could really do some damage to Khomeini. So the West is trying to portray an image about this issue, that maybe the Iranians are scared and the regime is on its last leg, and Khomeini is desperate for a ceasefire, and he wants to now negotiate, and he just wants to give away his nuclear program as well, and Khomeini is just going to surrender. While on the other hand, what we really see from these people and what they're saying and how they're attacking Iran is that Iran is not really scared of all this American and Israeli Air Force and their naval warships and their aircraft carriers and their defense systems, because the ratio of bombs that requires to stop a bomb is like an outstanding figure, because Israel is depleting its air defense systems. The more Iran is attacking, because to intercept a single ballistic missile that is coming, they need like 12 missiles fired from their Patriot, from their Iron Dome, and from their other two systems. And still, after firing 12 missiles to stop just a single missile, still the missiles are getting through. And also the fact that Iranian missiles might cost around $100,000, while the missiles that are being used to intercept the incoming missiles each of those missiles might be worth more than $3.5 million. So if you take into consideration, it's like 35 times or some astronomical calculation that Israel cannot logistically, financially support this war for much long. And Israel is nothing without America. And with Donald Trump on one side saying that he won't be involved in the war, and Israel is going to do what it's going to do, and he's also saying that Israel is right now on an upper hand. So what do you take of all this situation? Do you think that Ayatollah Khamenei is scared and he's begging the Americans to do a deal?
It doesn't seem like, and there's a very stark difference in Iranian political framework and Israeli political framework. In Iran, there is a one party which is there are 2-3 parties, but on top of those parties there is this Ayatollah layer, and any party that wins, any person that wins the election has to be under the supremacy of the Ayatollah layer. So that Ayatollah layer is not made of one person. It's a whole institution, and there is not one successor of if the Ayatollah goes away, there is not just one successor. There is a line of successors who are eligible, and from those one is picked up. So if you remove one Ayatollah, there are going to be 12 more Ayatollahs, and each one equally capable to replace that Ayatollah. But on the other hand, you see, if you remove Netanyahu from the picture, what is left? The whole political framework is going to, because Netanyahu's party is in power because of being allying with so many other parties, and once that one of those allies, if they get out of the government or leave Netanyahu, the whole his numbers, they just fall apart, and Netanyahu's seat goes away. And that's not happened once, that has happened several times already before, because every time there was used to be an election, Netanyahu got elected, but he had to make these alliances, and those parties left, and there had to be another election. In the last 5 years before Netanyahu came in power this time, there were something like 5 or 6 elections, because there was no stability in the Israeli political system. And Netanyahu has said yesterday, I think, that if Khamenei dies, the war will end. But I don't think so. I think if Netanyahu is taken out of the picture, the war will end, because nobody else in Israel wants the war. And on the other hand, here in Iran, the whole military system, the whole government, the whole Ayatollah structure, they are all for the war because of the reason that they didn't start this war. They were avoiding this war for the last 2 years maybe, or maybe much longer than that, and they don't want the war even now. But when you hit them in their hearts, when you hit them on their heads, what will happen? They have to retaliate in defense. And now the Israeli military has said, and the political leaders, they have said that we are not going to end this war anytime soon, and we will do what we think has to be done. And Israel is going to really, really repent this time, and that's exactly what's happening. Wali, you just said that the time between the alarm and reaching the bunker has been shortened, but I would say that in the last 2 days, Iran has hit multi-story buildings. This Mossad building and this medical center and this stock exchange, they were multi-story buildings, and the people on the top floor, on the 5th floor, on the 6th floor, they cannot evacuate within 5 minutes. I mean, that's going to be impossible. And when that business sector that was hit, if you hit one building, all the other buildings in the neighborhood are also going to get destroyed. And Iran is not stopping. There was news I was hearing somewhere on the internet that after every few hours there is a barrage of 10 missiles or 20 missiles or 30 missiles, and they are really hitting them really hard. And you just said that the airports have been blocked in Israel.
Yes, airports, people are not allowed to leave Israel right now, and people really want to leave. We also, on the other hand, see some propaganda footages from Iran that Iranian people are also in a lot of distress because obviously Tehran is being attacked. Everyone's trying to leave Tehran. The petrol stations, they've closed their petrol stations, and the Iranian banks are closed, and that's like a wartime scenario because when wars start, your banks are just closed and you can't take your money out, and you can't just be like take all your money out and move to another country. No, the borders, it's hard for people to get out from the line of fire because Israel, they're crazy. They've destroyed the whole of Gaza, and they're doing their attacks, and they're continuously attacking Tehran and all the other important military installations, also the nuclear sites. And they're so proud that they destroyed nuclear plants in which there was uranium that was enriched like to 60%. So there was yellow cake, and now there's also potentially some nuclear radiation that is leaking from these facilities. Because although the enrichment plants might be deep underground, but the storage facilities might be above on the ground. So there's some speculation that the nuclear radiations are also falling out. But still,
In Iran? In Iran?
Yes, in Iran. Do you think that's true?
Maybe, a little
Yeah.
bit, maybe.
Yeah, it's not such a big thing right now, but yeah, the only working nuclear plant in Iran, I don't know where its exact location, but Israel also said that they had attacked that place as well, but IDF just came out with their news that they haven't really attacked that place. So meanwhile, all this is happening. They're terrorizing Iranians, but Iranians are still steadfast. There's no scene of toppling the regime. Although, if they killed all the big military leaders, then they might have made deals with the people who are next in line, and there might be what you can say people who are against the regime and who can really do some damage to the Ayatollah and his vision and everything. But till this point, we don't see Iran collapsing. We see that yes, Iran has been hit. They have had many casualties, around 300-400 maybe, and most of these are top military and political leaders, and Israel is pinpointing and targeting them. But still, we see that Iranians haven't lost hope. While on the other side, we see that the Israeli people who were like suffering for such a long while, now they've had enough and they're crying. They don't have time to get into the bunkers. Actually, it would be better for them if they never came out of those bunkers, because if there's an attack every few minutes. There's like a siren and an attack. So there's no point of going back. If the attacks stop, then might be that they could stop. And with that, I'd like to show you a footage of the latest missile that Iran shot, and it has like this spectacular trail of I don't know. It seems like a serpent in the sky, a meteoroid or something, but it seems like a hypersonic missile which can travel up to Mark 26, and it's nothing like the rockets we have seen, because the smoke that's coming out and the everything else and the trails it's leaving, it's nothing like what we see from the American missiles. Especially Elon Musk just lost one of his biggest rockets yesterday, the Starship. It blew up even before it launched. So one comes to the question, that is the real rocket technology and the real space program happening in Iran, and might be the Americans want some intel from them as well. So let's see the video, and then we'll play a little clip from Colonel Douglas McGregor, what he is saying right now. So as you can see, yeah, it's truly some new technology, because we haven't really seen things like that. And let's quickly go to Colonel Douglas McGregor.
Since Donald Trump took over. That means that you've got to go back over the last 5 years. Obviously, we don't have access to those findings directly, but those findings have not changed. So Tulsi Gabbard's opinion, while I certainly value it and I'm confident that she's telling the truth, is something that he can wave off and express complete disinterest in. That's very easy. And that's not the first time. We've had presidents that dismissed intelligence findings left and right. I mean, we got to go all the way back to the summer of 1941, when FDR directed the Navy to maintain the Pacific Fleet at Pearl Harbor. And the commander-in-chief of naval forces in the Pacific immediately wrote to the president and said, "This is a serious mistake. We're presenting a target array for the Japanese, even though we don't think the Japanese will attack Pearl Harbor." At that point, everybody thought they'd attack the Philippines. And President Roosevelt said, "Thank you very much. Keep the fleet where it is." So we've had presidents wave this kind of thing off before. And I don't know that Mr. Netanyahu had to work very hard. I think he's got right now in the Senate, in the intelligence community.
So yeah, that might be a bit long. I'll just quickly tell you what Colonel Douglas McGregor is saying. This is a recent video, and we'd like to react to some of the people that we like. So in this video, Colonel Douglas McGregor is saying that Trump is really crazy to attack Iran. Fizan, can you turn the audio off? Yeah. So Trump is really crazy for attacking Iran, and it's going to be not as simple as he's saying, because Trump is really pretending that he can do anything. Even yesterday, I was listening to Trump and his interview, and he said that Israel is like on the winning edge, and Israel has already won. But in a war, situations can change like immediately, and we might not know that tomorrow we wake up and Iran has the upper hand and Israel is totally decimated. And then he goes on to saying that he's up for attacking Iran. And this guy, if you take some of his speeches out, that's what Palki Sharma did. She took out some of Trump's old speeches where he was like, "I will get the world out of World War III. I will save America. I will make America great again. And I will end all the conflict. And I'll call back all my army." And as soon as he comes, he's dragging America into the biggest war. And that could be a question in Khomeini's mind as well. Does Trump really mean like a dangerous war, or is he just bluffing? Because Trump likes to do what he calls the art of deal. A lot of time he just chickens out at the end, and Trump might be just bluffing with the Iranian side, that Iranians might be scared and stop whatever they're doing. And the point is that why isn't Trump really taking a side? Why does he say that he can attack Iran anytime? And if he does attack Iran, of course we know that Israel alone cannot sustain a long war with Iran, because Iran is sending so many hypersonic missiles, just like the missile that I showed you. And they're hitting like key areas. And remember, there's only 6 million Jews, and surrounding those 6 million Jews in Israel, there's like 2 billion Muslims. All the countries that surround Israel are Muslim countries. And Israel is hostile to most of the countries. And Israel has been toppling regimes like Assad in Syria and Gaddafi in Libya. And he's been taking sides with some of the Arab nations. And Israel has really penetrated, and their policy is to divide and rule. And that's what really our Foreign Minister Khwaja Asif just said, who's Pakistan's foreign minister, that we all need to unite against Israel because that's the only way we can stop them. And now Israel wants America to step in the war. And why is Trump, the main question, that why is Trump saying that he can go in the war anytime and he wants to, and he'll look at the situation, but he's not going to tell it even at the last point. He actually said, this is Donald Trump's own words, that he said that he could make a decision even at the last moment. He could change his decision. Maybe he's saying that he's going to attack Iran, but right at the end, at the edge, just a minute before attacking, he might change his decision and just leave Israel to the wolves. So yeah, Neela,
Yeah.
what opinion do you have? I also want to go to some comments, but let's quickly listen to what you want to say.
The interesting thing that comes to my mind, and I was like thinking about this before also, that these superpowers, the big powers, and their leaders, they pose to be the leaders of the whole humanity, the leaders of the whole world. They want the whole world to tow behind them, and all that. So leaders like Trump, leaders like Netanyahu, I mean, is humanity like even aware of the fact that of what kind of people are leading the whole humanity? People like Trump, who say one thing one day and say the exact opposite thing the other day. And when Trump wants to say something, he doesn't call a press conference. He doesn't call the media at the White House. He goes to his own social media platform, Truth Social, that he made specially for himself because he loves himself so much. And there's another, Elon Musk, who loved himself so much that he bought the whole Twitter so that he could tell the world every day how great he is, how beautiful he is, and whatever. These people are narcissist people. These people have self-love. And if you give the reins of the whole humanity in their hands, what is going to become? What is going to, where is humanity going to end? And that's what's happening right now. That the whole, humanity can be dragged into this World War III, because once you really start this war between the US and Iran has so many targets so close to it. US military bases, naval bases are situated right in front of Iran, in Qatar, in UAE, in Iraq, in Syria maybe now also, and all over the Persian Gulf. There big aircraft carriers, those sitting ducks, I call them, because they are just symbols and portraits of big power, and they are so easy to hit. I mean, one missile from Iran could hit and sink one aircraft carrier, and with it would sink the superpower pride of the United States, and the whole world is going to start saying that why do we need to listen to these people? They don't have any power, they can't protect themselves even. And that's what's happened in the Red Sea, where Yemen, a small country like Yemen, that doesn't have food to feed its own people, they have made homemade missiles and all those things to disrupt the whole economic bloodline that goes through the Red Sea. So what not can Iran do? Just by closing the Hamas, Hormuz Strait of Hormuz, Iran will block all the oil that's coming out of Qatar, that's coming out of Bahrain, Kuwait, Iraq, all the Iraqi oil that they are stealing, all those, and its own oil is going to block all that in one single move. And then how are these, U.S. jets and all those, even the European countries are getting their fuel from there. So how are they going to persist? How they are going to go on in the wars? So Iran has a lot of things that it can do very, very close to its own, borders. And if the U.S. has to come, it has to come all the way from, from the U.S. and cross the Atlantic and cross the Mediterranean and cross Syria and cross Iraq and or maybe cross the Persian Gulf. And it's really, really so difficult because, again, if you're going to ask me, I'll tell you how penetrated the Iranian arsenal is and the terrain of Iran. That's very interesting, if you're going to ask me.
Yeah, yes, I would. And I would also like to add the point that Trump doesn't want the oil prices to be high. If this war escalates, we could see the price of crude oil doubling from where it is. Maybe it's like around 40 or 50 right now, but it could surpass $100 a barrel. And that would be really detrimental to the American economy because they already have so much inflation. And when the normal people who are driving cars in America, who are going to work, dropping their kids off to school and doing all these things, when they see that their transportation cost has just doubled in like a week or two because of this huge crisis between Iran and Israel, and also they're trying to keep inflation number to like something like a 2-3%, a 4% inflation number, which is already very high and which is already very detrimental, but they won't be able to really lower their inflation number, and that is going to just crush and cripple the American economy. And that's what Donald Trump doesn't want, and seems like such an obvious question. And plus, he came on the premise that he would never get America into another war. But now he says that to stop the World War III, he
has to kill how many?
No. Sometimes to end the World War III, you have to get into the smaller wars so that you can.
This is the war that's going to start the war. Since the Gaza-Israel war, the whole international media has been again and again saying that if the war spills, it's going to be the beginning of the World War III. And again, in the Ukraine-Russia case also, the whole international media was saying that if the war spills, Europe and Russia and China all are going to be dragged into, and it's going to be another the World War III scenario again. And now this, Iran is such a pivotal country. It has become. It is a very strong ally of Russia and of China. They have really worked hard in making Iran their very pivotal ally, and they will not, in any case, abandon Iran, because if Iran is let to go away, there goes the BRI, there goes the BRICS, everything is shattered, because that will be the first step where the US hegemony will return. That same hegemony that was destroyed in Iraq, that was destroyed in Syria, that was destroyed in Libya. They did everything to make US and their allies get defeated in all these countries, withdraw from all these countries. And now how can they let Iran, and Iran is not just dependent on Russia and China for its survival, because I'm telling you again and time and again that because of this threat decades long, since the time of Khamenei, they have been under the threat of the US and their allies, that they always call Iran the axis of evil and the big problem, and they attack its nuclear program all the time. So with all that threat, and then they put so many sanctions on Iran that Iran could never sell its oil in the open market. It could never do trade with so many countries of the world. So they knew that they were already being isolated. They knew that they were under the threat of war. So they were preparing for this war for a long, long time, and they have done it in such a smart way that I've been telling you again and again, that they have built miles and miles of deep underground tunnels. They are so huge that whole aircrafts are standing in those tunnels, whole barrages of trucks fitted with missiles, and barrages of missiles and artillery, and everything is in those. Those are so deep down in the soil, and nobody knows where they are. I mean, Israel doesn't know where those facilities are, because they have not told their own people even. Those things are not in their media. They have just given out pictures of those tunnels just recently, and those not the location, but just the pictures of what is inside those tunnels. And that's why Israel knows that if it can bomb Iran as much as it wants, but those bombs will not reach those tunnels. And when Iran decides to attack, it can ask one brigade to come out with their missile trucks, and it can start shooting, and then all those trucks can go back underground within the hour. And Israel doesn't have the chance to come and hit them.
Yes,
so that's the situation.
But Israel, we have to also know that Israel is the master of espionage, and their intelligence agency, Mossad, is known to be like the craziest people that exist around this world. And they are known to corrupt people in other regimes and in other countries, and they get them on their payroll, and then they have this person from inside Iran's top military leadership who's just giving away every secret. So Iran is also known for all these dirty games. They might not be able to get to all the military equipment. They also, when the first day of the attack, Israel did destroy a few of the launchers Iran had, and Trump also did claim that Israel has total air superiority over Iran, and they have destroyed all of Trump actually said that they had beautiful air defense system, but they were all Chinese, and they're nothing compared to the American system. And Americans are really good with building their technology, and the air defense system that China has cannot save all the American missiles that America is sending. Yeah, they did destroy in the first day, but that's just the first missiles that were loaded in anticipation, because Iran knew that there was an attack coming, and they were waiting, and they had loaded all these launchers with their missiles. But that was the first wave which was destroyed. Now the underground stuff, that's coming out for sure. And it's said that Iran might have have around 5 to 7,000. Yeah, I know. 5 to 7,000, what you could say, ballistic missiles and hypersonic. A few of them would be hypersonic as well. So if they come up with all these missiles and they just keep on attacking Israel day in, day out, I don't think there'd be much left of Israel after like a month or two. And it's like they've been doing the same thing with Gaza. So, and the point comes. Do you want to add something,
Yeah,
or do you want?
I was just going to say that Iran has targeted the Nevatim air base, which is the biggest air base of Israel, quite some times. And before this, Hezbollah has also been targeting Nevatim air base. And there's another air base that maybe you're going to tell. They've also attacked that air base. So, what I want to say is that Israel is so tiny, and it's so easy to it's just oops. You just say oops, and it.
You don't say oops. And we just to be telling our audience that we're not against Jews in particular. We think Jews are people just like us, and we also think that most of the population that lives in any country are sane, normal people who want normal lives and a normal family. But Israel has been taken, the Jewish state has been taken over by the Zionist agenda. And the Zionist agenda is an agenda that even the Jews don't agree with. But sadly and unfortunately, since the inception of Israel, and because of the Holocaust that happened, that the Germans did, no Muslims were involved in the Holocaust. So because of that, Israel from day one was hijacked by the Zionist regime, which wants total annihilation of the Arab nations and wants like a greater Israel. And they have like these dreams of this Messiah that's going to come and save them, and he's going to rise from the wall of the mosque, and they want to we see what they're doing with Masjid al-Aqsa.
They are waiting for that Messiah because not for some religious reasons, but because it's been in their Torah and Bible and whatever predictions that Messiah is going to bring, superpower status to Israel. And it's going to be a kingdom which is going to be very, very wealthy. And, they want that wealth, not that prophet or Messiah.
Yeah, the prophet,
and
because,
the other thing,
because Solomon had a lot of knowledge, and he had a ring. Can you tell that story as well?
Ring?
The ring that he had, which was the Lord of the Rings. And that ring he stored, he went to the washroom.
No. Solomon did not have a ring. It wasn't his story, is it?
Isn't it the Temple of Solomon that they want to rebuild?
The temple they want to rebuild, but there's no ring in that story. In fact, it's very interesting that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he had this ring, and then there was a battle for which they went to a place, and in the way there was a well and or a pond or something like that, and that was probably the last battle in which the Prophet went, and he was washing his hands or something, and that ring fell there. And maybe that is the ring which the Lord of the Ring is going to get.
That is the real Lord of the Ring. But I've heard there's a story about this prophet. I'm not sure if it's Solomon, but I'm pretty sure it is him. So this prophet had this power of controlling the skies and the land, and he had some supernatural beings that helped him carry out his task, and he had
that
powers,
was Solomon. Solomon
powers
had all those
that were beyond something that was conceived at that time. His powers were so great that it was considered almost a magic. And then he used to control all these things through his ring. And one day, he because he wanted to use the washroom or something, he got his ring off and he put his ring under his the place where he used to sit. And Satan came in the face of Solomon and wore the ring. And with that ring, he wrote all the knowledge, because Solomon had this great knowledge, but he didn't want to give it to the mass population, because people would use such technology or such magic against each other, and they would destroy the whole world. So Solomon really didn't want to give all his secrets out, but when Satan wore the ring, he wrote all the secrets on like this book, which was then again stored beneath the Temple of Solomon. And that is where the story goes, that they want to destroy and they want to dig inside, and they'll find this book that has all these secrets.
Maybe that is a story, but it's not a true story. It might be a myth, a mythical story, because in reality, the Prophet Solomon had all those powers, but he didn't have a ring, and there was no like this story. I think that has been made afterwards, because these people have been making up so many stories.
But they're digging under the Masjid Aqsa, aren't they, for a long while?
They are actually looking for all the stones of the wall, and they want to make the base of that wall again, and then because they are thinking that when that whole wall of the temple is going to be built, that time the Messiah will come. So they are like looking for the whole structure and collecting all those ancient stones and all that. But the real story, which the Quran guides us towards, is that they were, in the time of Solomon, Allah sent two angels by the name of Harut and Marut, who were sent in Babul, that is a city in Iraq. And they were there, and they knew the knowledge of magic, all that magic, And they, when people came to them, they told them that Allah has sent us, we have this knowledge, but we are telling you not to learn it from us, because it's going to bring so much evil in the world. And all those people surrounded those two, and then they took that knowledge, and all that magic basically started from there maybe, and they wrote it down in the books and all those things, and many people must have taken the knowledge with them here and there. But Solomon, when he got to know about that, and he heard that there are so many books already written and people are writing, he sent his people there to bring those books, and then he buried those books somewhere. Maybe you're right.
Maybe that's what they're trying to find. Yeah. And those angels also got corrupted, and those angels are still alive in a well somewhere.
No. These are stories. People have made these stories. Yeah. Those angels must have gone back.
Yeah.
Because they were sent by Allah as a test.
But still, the point remains that these Jews have been, these Zionists or these Jews, ultra-Orthodox Jews, have been looking for their Messiah for the past 4,000 years, and they got to a point.
2,000.
4,000.
No, Messiah.
Because at the time of Jesus Christ, all these Jews almost took over Jerusalem. They came really close.
Jesus is 2,000.
Yeah, so they were in the chosen land 4,000 years ago. Then, when time passed, they got kicked out of their own land. And then they returned to their land at the time of Jesus Christ. But what happens is that they kill the prophet of the Christians, the Jews were involved in the crucifixion, and after the crucifixion, the Romans come in, and Romans are Catholics and Christians, and Romans just literally kill all of these Jews, and they wipe them out from Israel, from Jerusalem and Palestine and all this area. And exactly 2,000 years ago, at the time of Jesus Christ, all these Jews were thinking that their Messiah is going to return, because they had fulfilled all their prophecies, and then they got kicked out, and it took them another 2,000 years to return to this land. And now they're doing all their death and destruction and fulfilling all their prophecies, and still there's no sign of their Messiah. So,
but I would like to correct you here a little bit, that the prophecy of the Messiah came with Jesus Christ. That prophecy was not there before. So it can't be 4,000.
Evangelical?
Evangelical. Bible, you mean?
Evangelical Christians, they believe that when Israel will take over, when Jews will take over the land of Palestine, that's where their prophecy comes as well, and that's when the end of the world comes, and that's when there's this big war in which the evil gets destroyed and the good has the victory. So, in a way, the Christians believe that the Jews are bad, and we have to have this big war against the Jews, and that's when Jesus Christ would return, or whatever their belief system is. But
Muslims also believe that Jesus will return, and Muslims think that Jesus will be on their side. Christians think that Jesus will be on their side. Jews think that Jesus will be on their side.
No, the Jewish prophet is the false prophet, isn't it?
They are thinking that Jesus will be with them, but we know that the person they will be considering Jesus is actually the Antichrist.
Yeah. For us, it's the Dajjal, and for them, it's their Messiah.
Yeah.
And isn't their Messiah in Islamic depiction and their own depiction, it's the same, the one-eyed person?
One-eyed person, we have that. Our Prophet has told in his hadith, but they don't consider him to be a one-eyed person. Because even if he has one eye, he will have some artificial eye on the other side.
On the top of it. So with that, let's read a few comments today. We have a little problem, technical problem issue going on. That's why I wasn't going to the comments, because we can't show the comments today on screen. But I'm definitely going to read out all the comments. And thank you so much, guys, for being here, for listening to this live stream. We appreciate each and every single one of you, and we always have so much fun doing these live streams and reading your comments. And you can always, whatever you feel like, you want to say something, you want to add something to the debate, you have your own opinion, be sure to comment. We'll read it out loud, and even if you want an answer from us, we can answer you as well. So Azan says, yes, we're back with you. God bless you, bro. Akil Mughal says, yo to Akil Mughal as well. Star writes, hello. Asma says, hello, Wali Wonders. Welcome to the live. Aisha Rashid is here. I think she's also a return viewer. Thank you, Aisha, for being here. Nottingham Auto Recovery says, from a Pakistani standpoint, what shockwaves should Islamabad prepare for, from militant spillover along its Iranian border to economic disruption via oil prices, refugee flows, and diplomatic balancing? Well, there's a war with Iran, but do we see Iranians coming to Pakistan? There is a big Shia community that resides in Pakistan. And all of these people usually do travel to Iran at the time of Muharram, that's like 12th of Muharram, at Karbala, which is supposedly one of the biggest Islamic gatherings that happen, and it's a sight to be seen, and there's so much food. People say that there's food for miles and miles, and there's a lot of people over there, and they go over there. So yeah, there's some integration between the Pakistani people and the Iranian people, and we might just see some Iranians coming to Pakistan if the situation gets too bad.
No, but don't you remember what Netanyahu said in one of his previous interviews, where he said that there are two problems. First is Iran, and number two is Pakistan, because Pakistan also has this nuclear thing that is so dangerous for Israel, And yes, Pakistan there has been news that Pakistan has been helping Iran with some stuff. Trucks have been going across the borders.
The Chinese sent a military cargo plane to Iran as soon as they found out that Israel had attacked. And from the land, they've sent military cargo trucks filled with all these latest missiles and technology and ammunition.
The same air defense that Pakistan used against India. Maybe they said, yeah, now you guys need these instruments.
So, well, there was a war between India and Pakistan a few days ago, and we Pakistanis were thinking where we would go if there was like a big devastation, and which country to go to. Pakistan might be a viable option if things go very bad in Iran. Pakistan might take some of those Iranians in and help the Iranian brothers, of course. We also have deep ties with the Shias as well, because they're also integrated so well into our societies. Obviously we have problems going on between the Sunnis and the Shias for a long while, but still a lot of people living over here are Shia and have that ideology, and most of them are living in peace and having a good life. So yeah, that might be a viable option. And plus, Pakistan's Army Chief General Asim Munir recently went. Trump had a dinner with him in the White House, and then
there wasn't a press conference. You noted this? Because Asim Munir knew that whoever is in that press conference gets really bullied, and
but we'll not say anything against Asim Munir. But Trump really said that Pakistan Army and Pakistanis and their politicians know Israel. They know the top leadership of Israel, but they are much closer to Iran. And even our General Asim Munir was furious on the fact that Israel was attacking Iran, and he was quite mad about it, and he got this message across to Donald Trump that this is not acceptable, and we might have to step in to minimize the losses from the Iranian side and stuff like that.
You know what Trump said?
Yeah.
He said that he was very excited about our attack, but after the meeting, his body language I saw was not really very, it was changed. And I don't think he's much excited about that attack
anymore.
On Iran, U.S. attack on Iran. So Trump is, he has this big, beautiful mouth, and he can say anything about anyone.
So, and yes, Nottingham, replying to your question, yes, the oil affects us all. We thought that there was going to be a war between Ukraine and Russia, and that was so far away, it wasn't going to affect us. It's Europe. What's Asia got to do with it? We'll live our lives, but as soon as the war started, there was this massive wave of inflation, and the economy just went down the drain, and people are still suffering throughout this region, Asia and Europe, because of this Ukraine-Russia war. All the world is affected, and that's nothing compared to Israel and Iran and the price of oil. How is it going to just skyrocket if there is I don't know why will it skyrocket. The stock markets at the day of the attack just crashed. But now, since there's like 4 or 5 days since the war is going on, the stock market has recovered on the factor that the big stock market people think that this war is going to end soon. It's not going to escalate in something much bigger. Now,
But
why do these guys know? And you have to know that the people who are in charge of all these big investment agencies have more, sometimes they do have more knowledge than the people who are the politicians or people who are in the news agency, because these people are so wealthy and they're so well linked, and they have got so many resources, and they've got inside people inside every organization and every government. So the information that these top stock market people are getting is much faster and much reliable than all the information that all the other world has. So sometimes we do see that we are anticipating that the stocks are going to fall. And as soon as the time comes, there's a big catastrophe that goes on in the world. So do the stock people know about the things that are going to happen in advance? I don't think so. They might have some knowledge, but still the stocks are rallying on the fact that the war is not going to escalate.
And another point I wanted to make over here is that, one must also consider how Netanyahu or the Zionists are looking at the world, because in his viewpoint, what he is thinking is, I have compromised Syria, we have destroyed Iraq, we have destroyed Syria, the whole, all the cities, everything is just, rumbles. And we have destroyed Libya. So we are in the win-win. Now, Netanyahu thinks that he is, and all his Zionist partners all over the world, they would be thinking that we are winning and we have to go on with this winning. Like, they have to expand this destruction of the Muslim world. On one side, they have destroyed this Libya. They're all, they think they're in control in Egypt. They think they have destroyed Syria and Iraq. And now it's the turn of Afghanistan. They also tried to destroy and all that. But now, if now they destroy Iraq and then they destroy Pakistan, which was always their favorite target from the beginning. They couldn't attack Pakistan because Pakistan has a very active nuclear arsenal, and it has tested its nuclear weapons, and people know that, and it's already all the time. So that's the reason. So, but if, God forbid, Israel can take care of Iran's nuclear arsenal, then maybe it's going to think that, yes, now it's time to take care of Pakistan's nuclear arsenal also, and that is what they are bidding for. But of course, on the other hand, the global south is totally allied with Iran, except for the Middle East, Arab Gulf states, which I believe are allied with Iran, because since there was this friendship between Iran and Saudi Arabia just a few months before the Gaza-Israel war. Since then, the narrative coming from these Gulf states is pro-Gaza, is pro-Palestine, it is also pro-Iran, and they know that another war is going to bring so much more devastation to the whole of the Middle East. So they're not ready for a new war. And under the table, all the talks, if you remember, Wali, that just a few weeks ago, or not even a month ago, when Donald Trump visited the Gulf states, Saudi Arabia, Qatar and UAE, the whole year before that visit was about ceasefire in Gaza. And everybody was expecting that when Trump comes over there, they're going to talk about ceasefire and statehood for Palestine and ceasefire in Gaza. And what happened? Trump went back with all those multi-billion dollars deal, and then Netanyahu starts this new era of war against Iran and striking Iran, that the whole thing like happened so quickly. Everybody is actually in the media forgotten Gaza, what's happening in Gaza. So that's the way Netanyahu and his friends, maybe Trump, they are looking at the world, and that's such a dangerous way to look at the world, because if they go on with this thing, I mean, how long do you think China is going to stop itself? How long do you think Russia is going to stop itself from really entering? Because when they see their whole, BRI falling apart, their whole BRICS falling apart, their whole, economic supremacy falling apart, their whole military prowess falling apart, then they will think that this war is not against Iran, this war is against China and Russia also.
Yes, and the Russians have come out in support of is Iran, and they're saying that they're going to protect Iran, and they think that what Iran is doing is the right way and the right thing. And with that, I'd like to read some comments as well. I'll show you an interview. We have this presentation, and I'll show you this interview from an Iranian journalist who was saying that Trump is the real traitor, because till the last day, the Iranians were on the table negotiating with Trump, and Trump backstabbed the Iranian regime, and Bibi on the last day really did such a horrendous attack on Iran. And now these people have the audacity to say that Iran wasn't willing to negotiate, when it was Trump with the clear-cut betrayal, the betrayal of the century, that in one place you're saying that you're going to help both of the sides, you're going to mediate everything, and you're going to do a great big deal. And then in the middle of doing the deal, you just go and bomb the living hell out of Iranians. And that's why Iranians are not stopping in their hypersonic missile attacks. They're not taking any breaks, although now Trump is saying that there might be some negotiations between both of the sides, because there's been a lot of destruction on both sides, and they both are willing to agree to a ceasefire or a stop to this all this thing. But Iran won't fall for the same trap 2 times, or they won't fall for it again. And that's why they're just continuing, and all their strikes are getting much dangerous, much bigger, much more destruction is happening over there. They're attacking key areas, key installations that are used by the military and by the intelligence and by all the other people to really control the narrative and wage wars against all these Muslim nations. So with that, Mariam Akil says, hi, I've chosen your channel for the first time. It really looks nice and interesting. Thank you, Mariam Akil, for coming to a live stream. We appreciate the first time viewers, and thank you, and we do recommend you coming again and again. And Israr says, instead of living for 100 years, live one day so the world's history remembers it. Long live Iran. Yeah.
His message is for Khamenei or Netanyahu?
Khamenei. And Israr is also saying in an earlier message, याद रखिए ट्रंप अगर एक दिन 1000 बार पाकिस्तान की तारीफ करता है, तब भी कुरान की आयत जहन में रखते हुए कि यहूद और नसारा कभी तुम्हारे दोस्त नहीं हो सकते. So maybe we want to reply this to in Urdu because we don't want to be anti-Semitic over here. But हाँ, इस्लाम के अंदर, do you think कि
मुसलमानों ने तो बड़ी कोशिश की है दोस्ती करने की, बड़ा मोहब्बत भी करते हैं मुसलमान लोग, लेकिन ये जो यहूद नसारा है ना, ये खुद प्रूव करते हैं बार बार कि वो हमारे से ग्रज रखते हैं.
यहूदी से दोस्ती कर सकते हो, यहूदी से शादी कर सकते हो, मगर यहूदी के साथ कारोबार नहीं कर सकते.
ये किसने कहा है?
कारोबार कर सकते हो.
नहीं, रिलीजन तो नहीं कह रहा कुछ भी ऐसा. अहले किताब के साथ आप शादी कर सकते हो, पर क्वेश्चन है कि वो किताब उनकी अगर टोटली डिस्टॉर्टेड है और उसमें कुफर के बराबर एक मसाइल आ गए हैं, तो फिर उसको आप अहले किताब कैसे मान रहे हो? बहरहाल इस बेसिस पे लोग क्रिश्चियन लोगों से तो शादियाँ करते हैं.
And Nottingham says, with Iran's missiles hitting Soroka Hospital, facing accusations of targeting civilians, what are legal and humanitarian repercussions? Are we entering a realm of war crimes under international law? I heard that the hospital that Iran attacked was like a military hospital. Like, I don't know an analogy for it, but in Pakistan, we have CMH, which is the military hospital, and it's such a huge,
and there were
biggest
many defense facilities all around that hospital.
Yeah, so although we don't, we condone that they're killing patients.
But people, analysts have been saying that the same, Israel has been targeting hospitals. All the hospitals of Gaza have been made into rubbles. Doctors have been forced to operate in tents with just bare knives, no sterilization, nothing. I mean, that is what Israel has been doing, and I mean, that is horrendous, and you can't even tell those stories. And so yes, it's a bad thing that a hospital has been struck, but that happened only after Israel struck the apartment buildings in which there was this chief of army staff that they killed, and because with that person 78 other people died on spot in that building. And if Israel will never stop at anything, and it will go on and on and on. Even Western analysts, they have been saying for the last couple of days that we are happy to see that there is someone in the whole wide world who can give a lesson, teach a lesson to Israel, because we were constantly saying that this genocide and apartheid against the Palestinians and the people of Gaza has to stop. And the United Nations has been saying, ICC has been saying, all international organizations have been saying, but these, strong-headed, rogue, I call Israel a rogue state, a terrorist state. YouTube is going to...
A lot of the mainstream media are saying, even Piers Morgan is saying that they are genocidal. Israel is a genocidal state. And we know that they have different laws for the Arabs living over there. They live as third-grade citizens. So yes, a bit of apartheid and a lot of genocide.
No. Apartheid is so much that Gaza is also called the world's largest open-air prison, because Gaza is the people of Gaza are trapped from the four sides. They cannot cross the waters, the ocean. They cannot cross, take a flight outside, go outside Gaza. They cannot cross the land, borders. The Israeli forces surround them from all sides, in the air, in the sea, in the imagine 12 million people who are not allowed to step out of their country. That is the first degree human right violation. And then they do the exact same thing with the people of West Bank. But in fact, they do more than that, because what they've done inside the West Bank is that they have built long apartheid walls inside. West Bank, which isolate one township from the other. If a person living in one township wants to go to the other, it has to cross those barriers, those walls, those those points where the Israel forces are standing with their guns pointed on the heads of these Palestinians, and they have to stand in hours and hours in long queues just to get this pass if they really have to go. So they will definitely not even move from how do you define apartheid?
But now they don't even
Apartheid.
have homes, and all their homes have been destroyed, and they have they get these bulldozers, and they're grinding people through these bulldozers, and then they've killed like 100,000, and they continue on bombing the Gazans, and
Yes.
there's so many people dead that I don't think that the checkpoints are a real big issue
No,
in Gaza right now.
checkpoints are not in Gaza, I told you.
Yeah,
They are
this is-
in the West Bank.
And all the settlements they have. The
Check-
Israel, yes.
गाजा की तो बॉर्डर्स पे है ना, लेकिन वेस्ट बैंक के तो अंदर हैं, और उनकी एक एक विलेज को अलग किया हुआ है दूसरे विलेज से, एक एक सिटी को दूसरे सिटी से. और हाँ, what you are saying, they are also bulldozing houses in the West Bank.
Yeah.
They are also killing people in the West Bank. Like if they have killed 50,000 to 100,000 in Gaza, they have also killed 5 to 10,000 or more in the West Bank. And they've destroyed their houses in this same period. I mean, they're not stopping because they are always afraid that the West Bank people are going to stand against the Israeli army, because we are killing so many of their brethren in the Gaza.
So let me go through the comments quickly. Mariam Akil is saying hi. I think I read that earlier. So Akil Mughal is saying सिर्फ एक रीजनल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट नहीं रहा, ये पूरा मिडिल ईस्ट और ग्लोबल पावर्स के दरमियान एक नया जियोपॉलिटिकल लैंडस्केप क्रिएट कर रहा है. यस you're right आकिल कि ये एक नया लैंडस्केप क्रिएट हो रहा है, और ये वर्ल्ड वॉर 3 कुछ लोग कह रहे हैं, जियोपॉलिटिकल एनालिस्ट, के वर्ल्ड वॉर 3 का एक आगाज़ शुरू हो गया है. और ये जंग जब ख़त्म होगी तो जैसे पहले एक बैलेंस ऑफ पावर था, इज़राइल और अमेरिका और वेस्टर्न पावर्स और फ्रांस और ये और वो सारा कुछ जो है ना थोड़ा सा शेकअप होने लगा. अगर इज़राइल जीत जाता है तो फिर इज़राइल जो है वो दोबारा से कंटिन्यू करेगा जो पिछले 70 साल से कर रहे हैं, मगर अगर ये लोग हार जाते हैं तो फिर एक बहुत बड़ा शिफ्ट आपको नज़र आ सकता है. ये सिर्फ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट नहीं, एक ग्लोबल चेसबोर्ड है. मुसलमान प्लेयर हैं या सिर्फ मोरे? दैट इज़ अहमद. वैसे there's a plan that all these people make behind the doors, and then there's a plan that Allah makes, and that's why Allah has promised to protect the Quran and the religion till the end of time, and they might hit us with like 100 nuclear missiles, but they don't know what Allah has planned, and He is the biggest planner, if you agree with us, and He could really change the game in just like a flip of a second. So hi Wali, your biggest fan has also marked the attendance, Sana. Sana, thank you for being here every time at our live stream, and thank you for watching us. We enjoy being here at this live stream, and please guys, do like, share and subscribe as much as you can. If you share this live stream to all your other friends as well, it's like a free way to help our channel grow and build and become even better and produce more content for you guys. So Mustafa Harun says hi. Thank you, Mustafa, for being here, for watching our live stream. Sana Ali is giving us some hearts. Thank you. Junaid is saying, bro, you're turning into the most favorite and dearest brother, meeting you is a must now. Thank you, Junaid. Yes, for sure, we'd like to meet all our amazing audience and all our guests who are watching us. And of course, Junaid, we could have a nice lunch and discuss whatever you want to tell us about the whole world. Sana is saying, when you get a chance to meet Junaid, make sure to introduce us to, we are Valley Wonder's biggest fans. Be sure. And Asad is saying, hello. A nation that stands for its sovereignty is targeted, and Iran is paying the price for standing tall. Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
When Khomeini came into Iran and he brought this huge Islamic revolution inside Iran, the whole Muslim world everywhere was so much inspired. And although the Sunni people, they think, and we do think, that we are better Muslims maybe than the Shia people, but we were really, really inspired, and people looked onto Iran's example, that how can we bring such a nice and beautiful Islamic revolution in our countries also. And yes, there has been some differences between the Sunni brothers and the Shia brothers, but this war, since the beginning of the Gaza-Israel war, the Shia leadership of Iran, the Shia people in Yemen, the Shia people of Syria, they have all become heroes of the Muslim Ummah again, because they have been those who have come out and to stand besides the people of Palestine. And I do believe that all the Arab countries and even Pakistan and all the Muslim countries, we all hurt for Palestine, and we all strive and we all do some diplomacy and some under the table planning with our allies and all of us together to do something for Palestine and do make a pathway towards Palestinian statehood. But we are so much intimidated and so much integrated with the Western countries, with trade and with military defense and all so many big and small things, that we don't want to come out in the open and really say that that we are against the US and we are against Israel and we are going to stand with Iran shoulder to shoulder. But Iran and their allies, Shia allies around the whole peninsula, they have been doing that. I mean, they have coming out. Hezbollah has come out and made a battle in support of the people of Gaza. The Houthis have come out and made battle in support of the Gazan people. So
but the point is that they used to be such a big power that when in the 70s and the 60s, when all the Muslim nations combined together and waged a war against Israel, I think when Israel was formed, all the Muslim countries united and waged a war, and they lost. And then on the Yom Kippur War, they also lost, which was led by the African leaders like al-Nasser. And then Shah Faisal, King Faisal. King Faisal was also shot in his house by his nephew, who was returning from USA. He was there to study something, and I don't know what the CIA and their mind control games and this MK Ultra and the experiments they were doing back then, and the guy came and shot Shah Faisal and he died. So considering that even if all the Muslim nations unite and stand against Israel, they don't stand a chance. And now if there's just a single nation who is trying to have some altercation with Israel, now how will that stand? So that's why Gaddafi said that they're going to come to each and every one of you. You might be laughing that the Afghanis are dying. You might be laughing that the Iraqis are dying. And the point is that you won't be laughing when Israel will be in your home and killing your family and invading your country. And that's what they did with Gaddafi, and then with Syria. And they're now waging a
Saddam.
war with Saddam as well, and now they're waging a war with Iran. And who is to say that Pakistan is the next target? Because Netanyahu is clearly, from the last 30 years, he has this interview 30 years ago in which he's saying, yes, Iran is a main problem for us because of its nuclear arsenal, but there's also another problem, that is Pakistan, and we have to eliminate them as well. So yeah, it's like a number that is on the head of each Muslim nation, and one by one, they're taking it down. And all the Muslim nations are so afraid to go against this big power. But I do think that all these things are the thing of the past, and now there's a new sense of individualism and of nationalism and of these Muslim nations now standing and reuniting. Although we don't see, we can't say anything about Saudi Arabia, nor can we say about Qatar and all UAE and all these big nations, because on the face of it, they might seem more inclined towards the West. And that's what exactly Gaddafi told the king, who's the King Abdullah.
Of Jordan.
King Abdullah of Saudi Arabia.
Acha.
He's the king, I guess. And MBS is the prince. So if Faisal was killed.
Abdullah is Jordan king, and that is Salman. MBS Mohammed bin Salman.
Yes, Salman. King Salman. So they had this OPEC OIC meeting in which all the Arab leaders came together and all the African Muslim leaders came together. And Gaddafi, straight to the face of the Saudi leader, he told him that the British made him and the Americans are defending him. And the grave is, I guess, just forward and what is back, I don't exactly remember. But the king of Saudi Arabia was so furious that he started yelling, and the Sisi or some Egyptian guy had to come. Mursi, not even Mursi. Hosni had to come in and get the situation calmed down. But the point is that even these big Arab leaders, we don't trust them, because the legitimate power that was Shah Faisal or that was Al Nasser, those type of people were taken out and they were replaced by people who were CIA assets, or they were more in line with the Western agenda, because all these Muslim nations in a certain way are like protecting.
I would like to add something.
Yeah.
Actually, the Arab, they got disillusioned from this Western world, Trump especially, because the Arab, all these Gulf states, the Arab peninsular Arabs, they had put their stakes against Bashar al-Assad, because they felt that the Shia arc is being built all around them, all the way from Iran and Iraq and Syria, and then down in Yemen. There's a big, strong Shia arc, and this divide and rule thing was so successful that the Sunni Arab, they thought that this encirclement is going to become a death trap for them, and the Shia are going to become so strong that they are going to penetrate into their lands or something. So the Arabs were staunchly against Bashar al-Assad, and they were all behind when the US was sponsoring and backing the good militants, they called them, who were fighting against Bashar al-Assad. The US and the NATO forces, they came inside Syria and they backed those militants and militias. And the Gulf states said that yes, you come in and do this thing, and we are going to give you all the weapons, and we will give you all the arms, and we will give you everything you need, all the logistics, and they literally helped them with dollars. But one fine morning, Trump comes out and says, in his last tenure, he says that we are withdrawing from Syria because Russia entered and Turkey entered. That was the moment, I think, was my guess, that the Saudis were disillusioned by the Western alliance that they cherished so much, and that was the point from where the Saudis and their Gulf partners started to move away from the West and towards closer to China. And then China got so much into, they brought the Belt and Road projects into the Saudis and all these countries, and they paved the way for the Iran-Saudi rapprochement and friendship. And that's why I'm thinking, and you mentioned the old wars from the first day. Day one Israel was born, and the second day two, all these Arab states combined their militaries and attacked Israel, but they were defeated because all those countries were colonies a few days back. And they didn't have any armies. They didn't have any military. Their armies didn't have to have any good weapons or training. They didn't have anything. They just had this passion for the Palestinians. They combined their forces and they were defeated. But this is a new era. Since I think the last war was in the 1970s.
1967.
67. And since then there has been no war, but Saudi Arabia is building their military. They have, the high, top-notch military equipments and aircrafts and missiles and all those. And the Qatar and UAE, all of them are buying military stuff from the Western countries. And Turkey is the 7th in military ranking all over the world. And Pakistan is the 10th to 12th military ranking all over the world. So the time is not the same. The era is not the same. Today, if the same passion arises and these countries say that, okay, we will make a joint force and attack Israel, Israel has no chance of survival. You understand? So this is not the same time, not the same era. The same river, you put your feet in the same river, but it's not the same river because the water is totally new.
So if we're already 2 hours in the stream, but there's a lot of comments today on our live stream. I just quickly go through a few of those. So so Jalal Gilani saying, yo, what's happening here? I hope it doesn't escalate. Thank you, Jalal, for being here. If you guys have been following Wali Wonders, Jalal and me used to do these podcasts, and we started one of our few first episodes. It's me and Jalal talking about everything that we think about the world, mysteries and stuff like that. And thank you, Jalal, for being here. Jalal was here with me. He's not in Pakistan these days, but he was with me a few days ago, and we had a really nice time. Thank you for being here, and thank you for commenting. Asma is saying, Iran zulm ke khilaf आवाज़ है जब सब खामोश हैं. ये मुल्क हक के लिए खड़ा है. That's like a beautiful, beautiful point. That zulm ke khilaf अगर कोई एक मुल्क खड़ा हुआ है, we could seriously say कि ईरान है. गज़ा के मुसलमानों के ख़िलाफ़ साथ जो मुल्क खड़ा हुआ है वो सिर्फ ईरान है. यमन के हूतीज़ हैं, और बाकी जितने जो मुसलमान मुल्क हैं जो अपने आप को इतना बड़ा फन्ने खान समझते हैं, वो कहाँ हैं आज के दिन में, और क्यों नहीं कुछ बोल रहा. और हम पाकिस्तान के बारे में ये कहते हैं, हमारी आवाम तो बहुत कुछ बोलती रहती है, मगर हमारी लीडरशिप को भी ज़्यादा कंस्ट्रक्टिव बातें करनी चाहिए. So Momna Waheed is here. She's saying, "Hi, Wali and Leela. It was a nice surprise to see you live today. Actually, I was waiting when you both would discuss such an important topic. Thank you, Momna, for being here. And yes, we were going to do it before, but we had some issues. So unfortunately, we couldn't. So Junaid says, bro, अगर ईरान झुक जाता, क्या फिर भी उससे टारगेट बना जाता? Yes, of course. That is the point that I was trying to say earlier as well, कि अगर ईरान न्यूक्लियर वेपन ना बनाए तो क्या वो ईरान को टारगेट नहीं करेंगे? शायद वो और डबल तरीके से टारगेट करें, क्योंकि ये यहूदी और ये अमेरिकी और वेस्टर्न लोगों को आप यू कैंट रियली ट्रस्ट देम. यूक्रेन के पास न्यूक्लियर वेपन था, सारों ने मिलकर यूक्रेन को समझाया कि भाई तू अपना न्यूक्लियर वेपन छोड़ दे, तुझे कोई ज़रूरत नहीं, हम तुझे प्रोटेक्ट करेंगे. एंड व्हाट हैपन्स एज सून एज यूक्रेन लूजेस इट्स न्यूक्लियर वेपन, Russia is totally annihilating. But of course that's just the gist of the story. That goes much deeper. Mahabaloch is saying hi. Israr says ये तो इस मौला का मिलाने वाले हैं जो खैर के कले को एक झटके में फतह करके आया था और इसके I'm too bad at reading Urdu and it's too small as well. जब Izan is saying जब ईरान पे मिसाइल्स गिरते हैं तो दुनिया साइलेंट होती है, लेकिन जब ईरान जवाब देता है तो सबको याद आने लग जाती है. Yes, Izan, that is a very serious point, that मुसलमानों की वैल्यू कम है और यहूदियों की वैल्यू ज़्यादा है और अमेरिकियों की वैल्यू तो सबसे ज़्यादा है. आप 1000 मुसलमान मार दो अफ़गानिस्तान में, किसी को कोई फ़र्क नहीं पड़ेगा. आप 3 अमेरिकी अमेरिका में मार दो वाशिंगटन डीसी में, तो पूरी दुनिया पागल हो जाएगी. तो कुछ लोग हमारी दुनिया में ऐसे हैं जिनकी ह्यूमन लाइफ इतनी मैटर नहीं करती. शायद वो अपने कुत्ते को बचाने की ज़्यादा कोशिश करें और किसी मुसलमान को कम कोशिश करें, मगर दैट इज़ द सैड रियलिटी. Huria Haroon says, I've heard Iran's retaliation with India is relation with India is much stronger than Pakistan. Is it true? I've heard Iran's relationship with India is much stronger than Pakistan. Is it true? Same question.
I'll answer that. Actually, India and Iran were friends for a long time, and because of this friendship, Iran allowed India to join hands to make their Chabahar port, which was going to be a very important port. But what happened last tenure when Trump came and he put more and more sanctions on Iran, and there was a trade war it had with China also. At that time, Trump said that all their friends are either with us or against us, and everybody has to stop immediately to trade with Iran. And India was a very big buyer of Iranian oil at that time. And when Trump said that, India told Iran that we cannot do any more trade with you, we will stop buying your oil. And that was the time, the moment when Iran and India, their paths separated, they remained friends no more. Iran kicked the Indians out of the Chabahar port, and the construction was halted. And now, inshallah, the Chabahar port is going to be built, and Pakistan and China and all the region is going to collaborate with them, inshallah. But that was the point when Iran and India friendship broke off.
But recently, the infidels and the traitors that were in Iran that were caught were Indian, because India stopped buying oil from Iran. They stopped making deals, and now they're also helping Israel with killing the top officials, because most of these were Indian. And Asma Yaqub says, hi everyone, followed your channel for the first time today, and I feel like I'll have to start listening regularly now. Very informative. Thank you, Asma. I hope you enjoy all of our live streams and you listen. Shiva is here. Shiva is also regular, and he says India is very good friends with both Iran and Israel. And
no, Shiva.
one thing could be true, one thing could not be. Meher Hasib says, since the attack on Iran, America's power has been weakening day by day. Yes, that's what Khomeini is saying. Khomeini is saying, America, don't you even dare try to step inside this conflict, because the repercussions would be so devastating that it would be can't even now fix the thing, because Israel has attacked you in such a heinous way. Maybe they down their aircraft carrier, or maybe they attack their bases that are in Qatar and that are in Syria and everywhere else, because Iran now has some intel that Qatar or Syria or Iraq was used by the Israelis to carry out these attacks. And these Muslim nations are helping the enemy attack Iran. And that's like a sad situation as well. So, and yes, Meher Hasib, answering your question, yes. What the Khomeini said that, the attack would be so grave that it will be irreparable. Shiva saying government under control of army, not even single PM hold office for 5-year term. That's not on the Shiva ji sometimes starts a fight in the comments. One Iranian day to challenge the superpowers game plan. Why is the rest of Muslim world still watching?
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole discussion that we had today. And Dante Ahel is saying, hello, Wali, hello, auntie. Dante is
hello,
like,
Dante.
Is Gibran, I think. Shiva is saying Islamic versus Islamic pawn, Pakistan. Created by USA. Sana is saying लगता है वली ने कमेंट सिस्टम को पेंडिंग इन्वेस्टिगेशन में डाल दिया है. महाबलोच, सॉरी सना, टुडे आवर कमेंट्स वर नॉट वर्किंग, दैट्स व्हाई हम लोग एंड में आके ना आप लोगों के कमेंट्स पढ़े. महाबलोच कह रही है कभी लगता है शिवा भाई ने खुद पीएम बन के देखा है, वरना इतना दर्द कहाँ से आता. So yeah, Shiva ji, I don't know, this is still going on in the comments.
Shiva's angry at us now. We understand your feelings, Shiva.
We get a lot of traction whenever we say something against Modi. So I was thinking that we just make this channel and we just say things against Modi.
Right. So we have, PMs changing all the time, but you are stuck with Modi.
Okay, Shiva bro, English to English only. Desi feelings को Google Translate पे भेज रहे हैं आप. Shiva saying, ha, my mobile was too old. I opened Google Translate. All previous tabs will be collapsed. I'm South Indian trying to learn Hindi, but my mobile is not cooperating with me. I feel for Shiva now. It's like, yes, Shiva, the main problem of the subcontinent is poverty, not having so much resources. The Western nations have too much and the Asians have nothing. And that's the point. Our main enemy is poverty rather than Pakistan fighting against India. Miss Asma saying, Miss Anila, is it permissible in Islam to marry a Jew if they haven't accepted Islam?
Actually, that's what I was saying कि अहले किताब से शादी करना जायज़ है, लेकिन प्रॉब्लम यहाँ पे ये आ जाती है कि किताब को अगर आपने टोटली चेंज कर दिया है, और मैं कोई माहिर वो तो नहीं हूँ, आलिम तो नहीं हूँ, लेकिन कुरान में कुछ आयात हैं जिनमें ये अल्लाह ताला ने कहा है कि जब आप ईसा को खुदा का बेटा कहते हो तो वो पूरी कायनात हिल जाती है. यानी ये एग्जैक्ट मफहूम है एक आयत का. तो अल्लाह ताला को इतना ये चीज़ बुरी लगती है। तो फिर जब आपने उस किताब में जो इंजील है, जो कि एक पाक किताब थी, उसके अंदर ये सब कुछ डाल दिया है, इतनी अल्ट्रेशन जो कि उसको दीन से निकाल के कुफर में लेकर चली गई, तो फिर आप उस आई डोंट नो। और मैं कुछ नहीं कह सकती। वैसे मैं आपको बताऊं कि अहले किताब से शादी करना जायज़ है, और उसमें यही आई थिंक हिकमत यही है कि जब अहले किताब आपके घर आएगा या आएगी तो वो आपके दीन से इतना इम्प्रेस होएगी, बिकॉज़ आप एक अच्छे मॉरल्स और अच्छे एथिक्स और अच्छी उसमें होएगी, तो कि वो अट्रैक्ट हो जाएगी आपके दीन की तरफ। लेकिन आई डोंट नो, आजकल तो आई डोंट थिंक ऐसा मुमकिन है, क्योंकि हम खुद ही इतने अच्छे मुसलमान नहीं हैं। सो ये बड़ा डेंजरस चीज़ है, इतना बड़ा बोल्ड स्टेप लेना।
Thank you for that opinion. And Maha Balot says your phone is anti-Hindi certified. Update चाहिए तो या उर्दू की बिरयानी. Shiva bro, your phone probably said no Hindi, only filter coffee in English. So yeah, Shiva ji usually comes up and takes a fight with the other people, and
That's
Shiva ji is
good.
saying, I definitely find a way to learn Hindi and Arabic and some Mandarin. Learning new skills always is interesting to me. Actually, I was born in Mumbai, North India, but grew in South India. That's great. And I think that Shiva ji doesn't hate Pakistanis. I think he's just getting bored. Sometimes that's why he comes up and starts a discussion, and it's a healthy discussion. वाह भाई, मुंबई का बर्थ सर्टिफिकेट और हैदराबाद का एक्सेंट इंटरनेशनल कॉम्बो मिल गया. Should we even read all the fight that is going on? I think we should. Yeah, every family member can speak Hindi, but I'm not able to speak or understand Hindi. Even in my schooling, also Hindi was much tougher subject for me, so I remember all the Hindi answers. Initially,
Like mobile numbers.
So yeah, Shiva doesn't know Hindi. He knows.
Then how is he a Hindu? It's a joke. I was joking.
He hasn't told us his religion.
Shiva means.
Shiva means वैसे. Guys, seriously, missiles are flying and you people are busy fighting over grammar and accents. Welcome to World War Language Edition. Streamers discussing their talk, we discuss our talk. Language war is real, bro. Yeah, bro. Streamers have a script. We got sarcasm nukes. By the way, Maha.
Guys, we are enjoying your comments now, and they're really, really
Now
interesting.
You are the show and we are the viewers.
Yeah.
Such an amazing conversation happening. Maha is saying Shiva and claps and some emojis, and okay bro, sleep well. People who think like this, like Shiva followers, should really feel ashamed of such a mindset. Am I did something wrong, bro? I haven't commented anything wrong here. It's not about property, bro. Even bank accounts are having 15,000 rupees every month. I'm study chartered accountant course final year. I'm locking myself with old mobile so I can concentrate on my studies.
Yeah, that's really good. We hope the best. I wish we have best wishes for your
Papers.
chartered accountancy, and really do concentrate on your studies, Shiva. We want a good and stronger India.
And yeah, we wish you all the best. And of course, every student is going through some sort of that situation. So it's good. You should concentrate on your studies, and we wish you all the best for your exams. We wish you all the best from over the border from Pakistan and all the Pakistanis. And thank you, Shiva, for being here. Thank you, Maha, for responding to what Shiva is saying. And Shiva is saying, whenever I get bored, I'll come to the live stream. I am Dravedian. Shiva गुस्सा करता है इसलिए आइंदा इससे बात नहीं करनी भाई मूदी बन जाते हैं. So, of course, guys, that Shivaji and
Shiva
Maha,
understands that he is welcomed. Here,
yeah.
people are enjoying his company.
Yeah, Shiva, whenever you get bored, these live streams are the best way to solve your boredom. And of course, everyone on the internet is fighting these days. And Maha, also thank you to you for responding. And to all the other viewers that were watching our live stream today, we thank you from the depths of our hearts. And it's such a pleasure doing these live streams every single time. And hopefully we can be more regular. We could be doing this every day, and it would be such a nice experience. And with that, I'd just like to say that it's 1 a.m. in the night or in the morning now. We're confused with that as well. Maybe it's the night or it's the morning. But yeah, it's very late in the night, and it's we have to wrap this up sometime. And we'll take. Anila, do you have like
Yes,
something to say to our
yes,
viewers
I was
before
just
we
going
leave?
to say that there's a lot more on this conflict, Iran-Israel conflict, that had to be said, and a lot of news also we had gathered. Wali was going to show you those, but we will be, inshallah, doing this tomorrow or the next day, because a lot more has to be shared with you guys.
Yeah, and the war is still going on. We had like a 35-page presentation just ready for just you guys. But sadly, it was so much knowledge and information that we had to pass through that we didn't even open the slides. We have had a discussion, 2-hour discussion even before opening the slides.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, we'll leave that for tomorrow, or maybe day after tomorrow. And it's such a pleasure being with you guys. And thank you everyone for watching. With that, I'm signing out. Peace out, everybody.